Hi, heroes. Coach Rob here with a little shout out, recap, and epilogue for the Greenscales Mercenary Company campaign, which we wrapped up last night after a dramatic 4-hour long encounter with AMON-THOTH, the dread pharaoh, the dark mummy lord lich who lived in and commanded from the depths of his sarcophagus chamber in the ebony citadel, the obsidian pyramid that he had been living in, that was accidentally summoned to your guys' backyard after a, I think, rather fortuitous use of the bag of beans in a necromancer's lab. For those of you who weren't there were 4 active Greenscales who rolled up. I think it was Alden, Alan's ranger. There was Ray, who was Sydney's barbarian. There was Conan, who was Adam's wizard slash barbarian, or maybe just a wizard. And then there was Gardane, which is Garrett's grave cleric. And you guys rolled up. You went inside of the chamber, and in there was this big sarcophagus. On either side were a couple of guards. One was the necromancer, who you've had dealings with in the past. He's here! And on the other side was Aisha, who's one of the last remaining Knights of the Obelisk and loyal to AMON-THOTH still. She was an archer. In the center was this big stone sarcophagus, which dramatically open, wheels up vertical, and the thing slides across, and inside is AMON-THOTH, the mummy king. And he steps down. It's very dramatic. And then the sarcophagus takes off and flies. And the whole encounter, like I said, took about 4 hours long. The sarcophagus can fly around. It was spitting infestation, bug attack cantrips at people. My favorite part about it was that the sarcophagus had this entomb ability where it can either pick up an allied character. So Aisha the archer, it picked her up right away and was floating around 20 feet above the battlefield. And so she could open up the top of the stone coffin, fire arrows out, and then get back down inside, button up again. So that was a fun little thing. But she eventually jumps out so that I could use the sarcophagus to entomb enemy characters. I think Gardane got snarfed up once or twice, where it comes down, there's this strength check, and it eats you up, and then you have to make a constitution saving throw to avoid the poison damage as the scarabs inside of the sarcophagus eat you alive. And that was a theme, bugs eating people alive. That was a theme for the encounter, because it turns out the Mummy Lord's abilities have a lot to do with plagues and infestations and scarabs and beetles and stuff like that. So there's a couple of really big damage spells towards the end there where he cast, I think it was Plague of Insects, huge AoE attack, a gajillion piercing damage for anyone who fails or even makes the save inside it, which is most of you guys. I was really impressed with how well everyone did. There's only 4 of you and no one was over level 6. The CR, the challenge rating for the Mummy Lord, it's by itself is 16 or 17, so you were way outmatched. And he had 2 goons with him, an archer and a caster, and a magic sarcophagus. So the fact that you managed to pull this one out, very impressive, guys. Good job. There's some great moments with Ray the barbarian just standing in the pocket and going toe-to-toe with AMON-THOTH for just extended periods of time, just getting rotting fist in the face and returning back with her lightning rage and her battle axe repeatedly. Alden the archer got the first kill of the fight by filling the necromancer with arrows on turn 3, maybe 4, killing him right away. So that was a lot of fun. Gardane was doing a lot of work. He had the Staff of Sands and the Diadem of Starlight, which allowed him to use this magical weapon without melting himself. However, the Staff of Sands, if you don't know or if you don't remember, has this thing where when you cast one of this really high-level spells, everything in a 30-foot radius has to make a save or it takes a bunch of radiant damage. So he was being very conservative with the uses of that staff's abilities, which I really appreciate as a team player aspect to things, instead of just being a little bit of a selfish player and nuking everybody in the room repeatedly. And he wound up actually using that staff to kill AMON-THOTH at the very, very end, which was very cool. Conan was doing a lot of work, kind of being a magic tank almost, because he kept using silvery barbs and he had this mirror image spell just on all the time, and I hated it, and AMON-THOTH hated it, and he was using all of his abilities trying to hit both Gardane and Conan the Wizard a whole bunch of times. The staff or use of the whirlwind, finally, like, Gardain was up here in the top left corner, and then like AMON-THOTH had this legendary ability where he can turn into a whirlwind of sand and like whoosh, like fly 60 feet somewhere else. And he had done that, and he'd go whoop, way on the other bottom part of the screen. And then the other two guys were down here on the other side. So they were outside of range of both AMON-THOTH and of Gardain in his microwave radius. So Gardain uses the Staff of Sands, hits AMON-THOTH with the whirlwind, picks him up, slams him to the ceiling, slams him back down again, and that was it. His body turns to black sand as he disintegrates, his leathery flesh desiccating and turning to dust before your very eyes. There is a lintel, I think it's like a shrine where the sarcophagus had been resting on. You guys killed the sarcophagus a while ago. Where the sarcophagus had been resting, which contains the heart of the mummy, which you guys can capture or destroy. I'll really leave that up to you, what you want to do in the epilogue. But as battle wrapped up, Mr. Green, your CEO and president of the Greenscales Mercenary Company, enters the fray, says, "Hey, I'm here to help. Looks like you guys got it, though." And he goes into the shrine and takes out a jewel, a big green jewel, which he eats, and then it gives him, it unlocks his curse that was preventing him from taking his true form again, which is that of, say it with me, a green dragon. Duh. Mr. Green, the green dragon, turns back into his dragon form, flies up and makes a hole, and this makes a moon roof, I guess, in the ceiling of the Ebony Citadel, flies away, and that's kind of where I want to start the epilogue for you guys, for what happens after everything settles down, after the dust literally settles. Mr. Green is gone. No one knows where he is. He turned into a dragon and flew away. When you get back to the wood fort, there's a note from him saying that if you want to run the Greenscale Mercenaries, you can have ownership of the company. If you want to dissolve it, you can do that too. He doesn't really care. He's out of there. He's done being a human form for as long as he possibly can be. He's going to go do dragon stuff in Dragonland with his dragon buddies, because why wouldn't you? However, of note is that his beloved houseplant Devon is gone, but in its place is a repotted sapling, smaller, I don't know what you call it, like a sprout, I guess, a smaller plant named Devon Jr., ready to be watered and cared for on his desk for whoever wants to sit in that chair next. As for the remaining Knights of the Obelisk, there were two remaining NPCs who kind of joined your forces after defecting from the Knights of the Obelisk, who are they're sort of the personal captain army of AMON-THOTH, and that was Boomer the Barbarian and Foe the Illusionist, and they both decided to stick around, hang out at the Wood Fort. They want to continue working for and as Greenscales mercenaries, so if someone decides you want to do that, they'll work with you, or they'll go off and do their own thing. Oh, I should mention too, during the battle, a couple people fell down, and it was really hard. I think Eldon fell down. No, Eldon didn't fall down. Ray fell down really hard when she got attacked by a bunch of bugs, and Eldon was having trouble dealing damage once AMON-THOTH was the only enemy left, because he had non-magical arrows, and AMON-THOTH is immune to non-magical damage. So Alan went and did a high-five takeout with some of the NPCs, who were waiting outside. So all the NPC allies you guys have ever met were waiting outside that battle for use if anyone ever fell down or wanted to trade out. And so Alan brought in Crimson Knight Beatrice, who used her flaming greatsword to just really like, honestly, that single hit that landed from Crimson Knight Beatrice, like late in the fight, did like a third, I think, of AMON-THOTH's HP. It was a lot. He started with 220 HP, and I think you like chewed away like 70 in a single strike. It was pretty phenomenal. Anyways, the remaining Knights of the Obelisk, Foe and Boomer, decide they want to hang out and work with you guys. The other ones are dead. You killed them. Lord Blackmane, the Hobgoblin commander and governor, who you guys met in session like 1 or 2, I want to say, very early on. You rescued him after he had failed his mission in the Hobgoblin army. He'd been left for dead to be, I guess, like killed by exposure, but you guys rescued him from some goblins. He actually gifted his family sword, Blackslash, to Jen's character, Zolta, which became your pact weapon. It's a magical sword, which is super radical, but he and his nephew decided to found the Council of the Realm, which is a sort of European Union, I guess, for the continent of Shanadar, where all the greatest leaders and wisest minds and whatnot can convene to discuss and make plans for the continued security of the continent of Shanadar after a threat like AMON-THOTH is taken care of, and it becomes very clear that there needs to be a united front against such threats. Sir Lightwood and Crimson Knight Beatrice, as a little throwaway almost, I'm glad Sydney remembered to give the letter that Sir Lightwood gave to you guys forever ago. It's finally delivered to Crimson Knight Beatrice, like, I think in game, like 45 seconds before she decides to roll inside of the fight and deal like 70 damage in a single hit. But they do finally get together. They hit it off. There's a wedding, and they decide to adventure together as a couple. So they traipse all around the wandering paladin Crimson Knight Beatrice and the love-struck knight Sir Lightwood. Make their way across, and you could probably catch up with them if you wanted to, although they are sort of on their honeymoon as they adventure around, so maybe give them a little bit of space, but they're always ready to write. Yes, last but not least, Street Dog. Everyone's favorite canine and maybe the best NPC I've ever come up with. Street Dog settles in at Woodfort, the erstwhile HQ of the Greenscales Mercenary Company, and raises a litter of puppies among the kobolds there. Street Dog retires from adventuring and becomes just a old, fat fort dog. He likes to eat the table scraps. He likes to chase the bunnies. He decides that I'm done. my dog years are coming to a close. He lives out his golden years at the Wood Fort with whoever wants to hang out with him. But that's what happens afterwards. What happens to you and your character is 100% up to you. If you want to continue to live the life of a Greenscale mercenary, if someone wants to attempt to take the CEO chair from that's vacated, that Mr. Green has vacated for you guys, or if you have something else you want to do, you want to hit the open seas with Captain Cracktusk, you want to go into the mountains to explore things with the dwarves, you want to check out the ancient ruins of the Instorn Hold, if you want to check out the Bleak Strand, the unmapped area of Shanadar far, far to the west, or if you want to venture into the dangerous wastes of the deserts to the far east and see what mysteries lie there, everything is open. You are all major celebrities in the realm now. You have all the money you could do anything with after looting the pyramid. So really anything your character wants to do is for them. The only thing that they have to do is keep questing. Thanks, guys. This was a lot of fun. It was a great, I don't want to call it like almost like an experiment on my part for how I can run games, like what Dungeons & Dragons can be. And I'm really, really happy and pleased that as a personal trainer, as a fitness person, as part of my business, I get to run this adventure for you guys. It was very memorable for me, and I hope it was for you as well. And I'll say it again. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you later.